Alright, this is another video. We're going to talk about weaponry a little bit more here, because we didn't really cover this as much as I wanted to in the last video. I'm going to, add a little bit more in. Now, you're going to say, well, what do you prefer? Me? I prefer a heavy hitter. I'm going to tell you right now, you hit somebody with that 5.56, right? You might have to go multiple rounds to take down that enemy, combatant. Whereas you hit him with the 7.62, it's just less effort. All right, it's just less effort to take somebody down. If you gotta take down an enemy combatant, this is really what you want. But again, we've got to call terrain onto the scene. We've got to bring terrain into this picture, because your terrain is also going to be a factor in what you want. Now, if you're going like house to house, close quarters, you may want that 5.56, because you may need a lot of rounds, right? You may need to pack a lot of rounds just to lay down some lead. Okay, you may want that. These are the little things you got to think about in your head. You're going house to house urban warfare, right? You may want this intermediate. You're out in the woods, you may have 50 to 100 meters, right, between you and possible enemy combatant. I'm definitely going for the battle rifle. Okay, even though it's heavier, even though you have less rounds in your magazine, right? Even though you have that, you still have the heavy hitting round, right? Because you got foliage and you got other things that could get in the way to knock that round off of its trajectory. Okay, you want to lay down some lead in a heavily vegetated environment, you definitely going to want that battle rifle. And if you do not want to put out the money for this rifle with this round, okay, because of you have some financial constrictions, but you are still in a somewhat heavily vegetated environment, I definitely suggest that you go with the AK-47 with that 7.62 by 39 round, because that will also cut through the vegetation much better than that 5.56. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about these rounds. All right. You want a rifle. You're going to want a rifle that will shoot either 7.62 by 51 or 308. Okay? Now everybody says one thing or another. Okay? Some say you can shoot either one of those in the same rifle. Some people say you can't. But the fact that, let's just go with the facts. The fact is that the 308 and the 7.62 NATO are slightly different. Slightly. Very slightly different. Both of them are slightly different from each other. You can run them in the same rifle if that rifle is chambered for both. If that rifle is chambered for both, okay, you can run either one. Okay. Now another thing is if I remember correctly, remember I'm old, my knowledge is kind of antiquated, and I don't keep up with any of this stuff. But if I remember correctly, the 308 has a higher pressure. So if you got a 7.62 NATO chambered weapon that does not say that it is also rated for 308, you could have a little issue there, okay? If you try to run 308 in your 7.62 chambered rifle, because higher pressure. I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to pretend that I am, you know, all-knowing and know everything and this is the definitive answer. No. You know, go talk to an armorer, okay? The best thing to do is if you have questions, call the actual manufacturer. You call the manufacturer, you say, hey, I'm interested in this weapon, this rifle. I need to know, can I run both of these in that chamber? Is this rifle chambered for both of these rounds? They have to tell you because it's a safety factor. Okay? But if you get a rifle, you definitely want to make sure that it's chambered to run either one. Because when it comes down to it, you're going to scavenge ammo, right? You're going to scavenge it. And I don't care what kind of ammo it is. If you run into the enemy, in a Minuteman scenario, a guerrilla warfare scenario, if you run into the enemy, if you have a run-in, you get into a firefight, and you take down the enemy, you're going to strip them clean of all ammunition, weapons, everything. Anything that is usable, you're going to take it. And then you can sort it out later. You don't sort it out while you're taking their stuff. You sort it out later. And you hide the evidence that you were there. Right? You're not going out murdering people. You're defending yourself and you're defending your country and you're defending your countrymen against a foreign enemy or a domestic enemy. Doesn't matter which one. I mean, there are opposing forces. There are people that are coming against the people. This is what we're talking about, okay? We're not talking about roving bands of a-holes running around trying to kill people and take their crap. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the good guys here. We're talking about you being a good guy and you doing what is right and just. And if you don't know if it's right and just in your own mind, you take it to God and you say, Lord, is this right and just what I'm thinking about doing here? And if He says yes, then do it. If He says no, if you get that feeling, this is not the way, we need to go ahead and pull back. We need to regroup, rethink. We need to do something else. Then that's what you do. Okay? You got to do the right thing. The Lord will let you know. If you ask the Lord to guide you, He will. Alright? This is the way you say it. Say, Jesus, I need you to fill me with your Holy Spirit. And I need you to guide me through your Holy Spirit. And make me a good leader. And give me give me the right decisions to make. Not only for myself, but for my family, or for my men who are under my command, if you have any under your command, and so on. You see, you got to let God guide you in things. You can't just go out willy-nilly and do stuff, right? Everything, you put it before God first, and then you do it, okay? If you don't believe in God, then I feel sorry for you, because God is real, and God has saved my butt a lot of times, and I never knew why at the time, but I think that I know now. I think I know now because I'm here talking to you right now. And I have had God actually talk to me twice in my life, very quietly in my head, I heard him speak to me and answered my questions. And I'll never forget those times. You know, I'm not crazy, all right? So it happened. But God has showed me that this revolt must happen. This revolt must happen first before the church rapture happens. The revolt happens first. And then I remember a couple videos ago I told, hey, there's so many people out there. They're on this thing about these Nephilim, these giants. Oh, the giants are coming back, blah, blah, blah. Look, in Isaiah 26, in my Bible, which is older than the King James, okay, my Bible says in Isaiah 26 that the giants have been destroyed, and all memory of them has been destroyed, and they will not come back. Okay, Isaiah 26. In Isaiah 26, it does not say the word giants in the King James Version. It doesn't say the word giants in the King James Version. It doesn't mention giants. In my Bible, it does. It mentions the giants in my Bible. It says that their memory is no more. And I would interpret that as that there is no trace of their DNA to be revived. Okay? That they have been completely obliterated from the scene. Right? Because God was very angry about the abomination that came about from, you know, angels taking wives. Right? Fallen angels taking wives. That's how your Nephilim came about. I know we went kind of off subject there, talking about God and the giants and all, but I tend to do that. Yeah. Guys, if I had my way, it'd be a HK91 or a Galil. That SOCOM 16 looks pretty cool. That looks like a nice little battle rifle. You know, and I know guys are hitting, you know, the proper target at 500 meters with those SOCOM 16s every time. You get those dialed in with the scope, and they're dinging them every time, right? So that's a nice little rifle, despite the haters out there, you know. And personally, I think that there are a lot of haters of particular weapons by people that never even used a weapon on anything but a paper target or a steel target, you know. You see a lot of that sort of thing. A lot of people theorizing rather than having actual experience doing it, you know. So, anyway, this is stuff that I just pulled out of my memory banks. I wrote it down here. I erased the whiteboard this morning, and I thought, well, let me just talk about this email I got. A fella emailed me, asked me my opinion on rifles. That's my opinion on rifles. That's my little speech on rifles. I mean, you could do what you want. You have to ultimately do what's best for you. And I'm also going to throw in there that if you're going to hoard ammo, which is a wise thing to do, I would definitely hoard several different types of ammo, not just whatever is for your rifle, but several different types for other rifles. Because if you happen to get a hold of something else, let's say you got this here, not to be much longer, let's say you got this battle rifle, and you ran out of ammo, but you have acquired an AK. Do you got, you know, a couple thousand rounds on hand for that? You should, because then you could use it in that one, right? I know it's a lot of money, but don't eat so much. See you.